Hi, and welcome to part two of the voice of the customer techniques. And in this video, I will be talking about focus groups and surveys. These are the most common techniques that we use to capture the voice of the customer. There are more of techniques, but for this video, I'll be talking about focus groups and surveys. So just a reminder, voice of the customer, why we need it. We need to voice of the customer to listen to the customer. That will help us to meet the customer needs, will keep us attractive, will keep us in the market, and will gain profits. So focus group, what is the focus group? It is bringing groups and asking them uh, questions about your product or service. And why this is important? It is important because it is a one way to have a creative and open-minded answer. So you bring 4 or 5 people and you ask them about your product or service and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of this product or service? And that will give you a creative and open-minded answer. So we need creativity coming from the customer who used it, who experienced it, and that would be a second a fresh eye on your process. It is time consuming. It requires from you to arrange for people to meet with you and listen to your questions and so on. So there's some time needed there. But the one thing that you will be assured about it, that the customer will be interact with the products. They will interact. You know for sure that they interacted with your product or services. And you will be able to prioritize the need for improvement. So they'll give you just insight and things that you should work on it as a priority for you to improve your process, to improve your product and your services. So some of the desired information that you are trying to gain from the focus group, you will ask these group, do they like the product or service? Do they understand its benefits? Are they using it correctly? Is it affordable? Is it practical? So these is something that will give you an insight from the customer point of view, and you will hear from them on what they think. And based on this creative open answers, you could collect a good feedback that will help you to improve your product or service. So how to do a focus group, how to conduct. Uh, what you need to do before you do the focus group, you have to identify the number of groups and their sizes. Are you interested in meeting with 3, 4 groups, 5 groups? The size, what is the size? Uh, 3 people in a group, 5 people in a group. So you need to identify the number of groups and their sizes. Identify participants. Then you will look into the participants. You probably want to mix, if your product or service, you want to target maybe the young people, college students from 18 to 25 or 25 to 35. It depends what segment of the market you're trying to target. Uh, you identify the participant, and then once you identify the participant, you identify the number of groups and their size, you could develop the questions that you are interested in listening to them. During the focus group, you you ask these questions, and then you write them down. You transcript notes and comments based on uh, their opinion. And after the focus group, you probably want to follow up with information provided. So maybe you could say, I want to follow up with you regarding that particular answer that you give me. I need more information on that. And the last thing that I want to do is basically analyzing the focus results. You need the focus group results. So you need to organize the data, identify theme in the data, what they think is the majority they said yes, the majority they like it, the majority comment on the design of the product, the majority comment on the taste of the food. So what is the themes in your data? So you need to organize it, analyze the data, and find the theme, identify the deviation from the themes, how you should have some people who are giving you an answer that is not within the theme, not in the average. So you need to identify these. And then based on that, you identify the customer requirements, what exactly they need and what they want. And based on that, you could develop your product and services. So that's about the focus group. Now we're moving into the second tool that we're going to talk about it, which is the survey. In the survey, collect statistical validity and integrity. So we need to collect information based on statistics, An advantage when collecting large amount of data at once. There is so many advantage to have a large sample size. A large sample size means a more accurate result, a more accurate data represent the majority of the customers. And collect qualitative data only, and that's important. It's because the validity and the integrity that you have in the statistical, that will give you qualitative data as well, and it's based on the quality, the good answers from your customers. All right, what we need to do in order to conduct the survey, you need to identify the objectives. The first thing that you want to do is, what is your objective of the survey? Okay, I want to hear from my customers on the three things. Customer opinion on, number one, the design of the product, the size of the product, the color of the product. Maybe this is your objectives. So the first thing that you want to do is identify your goal. Don't say I want to go for create a survey and you don't have any idea what exactly you're looking for. You have to have an objectives and align these objectives with the questions. Okay, so I have these three objectives. Each of these questions will be, if each one of these objectives, there will be three questions to help me reach to that goal. So you create the objectives and you create the questions according to the objectives. Determine the sample size. So are you looking to survey 100 people, 200, 500, 1,000, 10,000? What exactly the sample size you're looking for? And write a draft of the question. You write the draft of the question based on the objectives, and then determine measurement scales. You code these questions. It's really important to code them because you want to analyze the survey later on, and you probably want to determine the scale of that. And this is where it comes on the code and design the survey itself. And then you review it. What I would recommend actually it's in here. The first point on this slide is pilot survey. Once you have the draft and design it and you exactly know what data you're collecting, you have to do a pilot survey. And the pilot survey, basically, you're telling a friend of yours, what do you think of this? Can you take this survey? And based on that, you say, you'll collect a feedback. Maybe question 5 is not clear. So that's where the pilot survey is important, because it will give you the quick feedback on the quality of the questions and the clarity of these questions. Once you receive these feedback from the pilot survey, what you do, you review, finalize after the pilot. You finalize it as a final draft. And then once you're happy with it, you send it to the customer and give them a few weeks to take the survey, and then compile and analyze the result. And once you analyze the result, you need to identify some pattern. If there is a pattern in the data, document the deviation. If there is any unique perspective far away from the average perspective, so that you want to document that. You want to look into the responded, how many responded to your survey. That's important as well. And you probably want to create some charts to for your presentation, and where will help you to let management know about your survey and the result of these surveys, just such as the pie chart or bar chart that will be helpful to take it to your management to share with them, or your employees as well, just to share with them the result of the survey. And you decide if it does the data help or not. And basically it should help. If you design the survey correctly within the objectives that you have, and you created the correct questions to ask, these surveys should help you to improve the process or the service that you're providing to your customer. And as a summary, we did cover the focus group, and this is bringing people and ask them about their opinion of a product or service, and you want to document what did you learn from your customers that you brought, what are you doing right and what you're doing wrong, and these should help you to improve your process or improve your service that you're providing to your customer. That's the end of the video, and I'll meet you in another video for voice of the customer, more about the voice of the customer.